as he racked over 1,000 receiving yards and scored 24 total touchdowns through the air, on the ground, and in a return game. He returned both a punt and kickoff for touchdowns that season as well. Dude was so dominant that young kids will line up after games yelling for his autographs, gloves, or anything they could get from their idol. Even one of his coaches recalled telling him there were going to be little
You too, what it do, man? It's Straight to Third. We back with another reaction right here, and this one a lot different than all the ones we did. And this one's spicy as shit, I can't lie to you. And I got some more relation to this type video because bro went to the same high school I went to, you know what I'm saying? And I heard some stories about bro through my high school and all that. So let's tune into this Steffon Diggs documentary. Not the good one, the bad one. Let's go ahead and tune in and see how cocky bro really is, or the villain they paint him out to be. You and me? Let's tap in.
This locker room is most in touch with their feminine side.
Steffon Diggs. 1-4.
Steffon Diggs.
Oh, Steffon Diggs, hands down.
Damn.
Diggs.
Because he always got to brush his teeth, always got to look good, always got to try to dress nice.
He cares about his appearance too much, like a female does, you know? If people vote me because I'm an easy target, yeah. Like who else you gonna think about?
Well, first off, that's your fault.
First of all,
he could walk.
that's your
Steffon
fault.
was brought up in a world of intense competition and had to
I'm
drive
extra
to be the
clean,
best.
nigga.
His father Aaron
You
was the
mad 'cause I'm
mastermind
extra
behind
clean?
this competitive environment.
That's
So
your
when
bitch
Steffon's
argument.
younger brother Trayvon was born, the sibling rivalry ignited immediately. Steffon admitted he used to hit stick his ass, talking about Trayvon when they used to play ball in the backyard. But Trey wasn't that crybaby little brother some of us know to have. He gave as good as he got. Their dad fueled these competitive flames daily, quizzing the brothers on football formations and drilling them with homework, prayers, push-ups, and sit-ups. Around 5 is when Steffon started organized football, and to keep him in shape, Aaron would take him to the park after school to run bleachers and gassers.
My dad introduced me to the game, and I was like 5 years old, so I just love the game of football. It's a contact sport. You get to go out there and let loose, do whatever you really feel, really.
But at just 14 years old, tragedy struck the Diggs household as Aaron passed away from congestive heart failure at age 37.
Damn,
Steffon
that's
was
sad.
devastated, losing his best friend and the man who shaped him to be the player and person he was up until that point. 14 to 17 are the key years a boy needs his father.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. They used to show us this video when I used to go to the camps for the school I went to, the high school I went to, because it was just like a D1. It's like a D1 high school shit. Like all the players is going, you know what I'm saying? D1 really. Everybody damn near going D1 into the league. That's really how it was. But dude, they showed us this video of him playing in high school football, bruh. We used to be like, bruh, you could really do this in football? You could get that many touchdowns in one season? Like, this shit was...
To help him mold into a man, but that was taken away from Steffon and his brothers. In his father's final words, he instructed Steffon to look after his little brothers and do what he had to do to keep them on the right path.
Sat me down a couple months before he passed away, and he just told me that, you know, look after your brothers, look after your mom, and basically look after your family, and it meant a lot to me.
Overnight, only as a freshman in high school, Steffon had to become the man of the house. As he said, not having a father is big. You need guidance. I needed somebody to show me how to be a man, how to grow up, basically how to do the right thing.
I got my tears out at the time, and at that point, after that, I kind of felt like I had to leave.
So with his mother Stephanie working multiple jobs at Amtrak, Toys R Us, and Target to support the family, Steffon stepped up as a father figure to Trayvon and his younger brother Derez. He made sure to set an example, saying, I wouldn't want to make any bad decisions and have them looking at me some certain type of way. They called me when they needed something and have a question about something. Steffon embraced the responsibilities of having to grow up fast, determined to honor his father's wishes by being a role model, displaying the competitiveness and character that Aaron had instilled in him from day one. From the moment he first stepped onto the field at Good Counsel, it was clear Steffon was a once-in-a-generation talent.
It wasn't that he was just shitting on these niggas. He was shitting on the numbers, like people from the number 6 conference in the nation, like Gonzaga, McNamara. You know what I'm saying? Some great schools come out of this conference, and they typically number 6 conference in the nation. So he was getting nasty.
high school football simply didn't apply to his athleticism and playmaking ability. As a 4-year starter, he simply was unstoppable. Defensive coordinators would spend entire weeks game planning just to try to contain him. As one opposing coach admitted, preparing for him was impossible. Steffon seemed to glide past defenders with video game-like moves. Another coach said Steffon was playing PlayStation in high school with defenders, whether it was juking cornerbacks, jumping over safeties, or simply outrunning the entire defense. He made the extraordinary look easy. His senior year in 2011 was the best of them all, as he racked over 1,000 receiving yards and scored 24 total touchdowns through the air, on the ground, and in a return game. He returned both a punt and kickoff for touchdowns that season as well. Dude was so dominant that young kids would line up after games yelling for his autographs, gloves, or anything they could get from their idol. Even one of his coaches recalled telling him there were going to be little boys in Pop Warner one day running routes saying that they wanted to run them like Steffon Diggs. At good counsel, Diggs led the team to 3 conference championships and a perfect 12-0 season as a senior. He was named the Washington Post All-Met Defensive Player of the Year with 31 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. But the work that he did on the football field wasn't his only specialty. He did his thing on the track as well. He participated in sprint events and a few relays. As a 5-star recruit, Diggs was viewed as one of the best players in the nation. He was considered the 2nd best wide receiver recruit in the nation and was rated as the #1 recruit in the state of Maryland by rivals. He was ranked as the 13th prospect in the nation and the 3rd athlete in the class of 2012 by ESPN. And with those ratings came with some good offers from the likes of Florida, USC, Cal, Ohio State, Auburn, and a few others.
I feel like it's a blessing to be here. All y'all here with me. It's time to make that big decision. I feel good about my decision. I feel 100% sure. I want to win championships. I want to win bowl games. Where else is a better place to do it than your city?
Diggs chose to stay home and committed to the University of Maryland on February 10, 2012, despite being heavily recruited by national powers. Steffon chose to stay home because he wanted to be close to his mother and serve that guiding presence for his younger brothers. When the highly sought-after Diggs arrived in College Park in 2012, the hype and expectations were through the roof. From his very first game, it was clear Diggs was ready to deliver on the hype around his name. Against FIU, the freshman racked up 63 receiving yards and a highlight reel 48-yard touchdown catch. It was just an appetizer of what was to come. That season, he put the entire ACC on notice with his game-breaking ability and ranked 2nd in the conference and 8th nationally in all-purpose yards per game, setting Maryland's single-season record with 1,800 yards. Whether it was catching passes, taking handoffs, or in the return game, Diggs was a constant big-play threat. His signature moment came against Virginia. After the Cavaliers scored a late go-ahead touchdown, Steffon calmly waved to his teammates on the sideline before the kickoff. On the ensuing return, he took the kick 100 yards to the house. The legend of Diggs was born and slowly became a household name. As a sophomore in 2013, he continued torturing defenses, leading the ACC in receptions and receiving yards, despite missing some time with a broken leg suffered in the season opener. His toughness and perseverance was on full display, returning ahead of schedule to make more highlight grabs. However, the injuries continued to pile up his junior year. After missing the first few games recovering from an off-season surgery, Steffon suffered a lacerated kidney in the October that threatened his career, but he fought back once again to return the final month of the season, leading Maryland in catches and yards. Despite the setbacks, Steffon still managed to set numerous school records and rank among Maryland's all-time greats just after 3 seasons.
What have your conversations been like with different teams and GMs and coaches? Is there a city in particular that you could see yourself in? What has that been like?
I'm getting a lot of good feedback from a lot of teams. I've spoken with so many teams, I don't have a clue on where I'm going to go, but a lot of good feedback. So it's no specific city I would like to go to, but hey, man, wherever I end up, I'm going to be happy.
And here, moving on to his NFL career, things start to get questioned about his character. After he was drafted to the Vikings in the 5th round in 2015, Few could have predicted the eventual stardom that awaited for him in Minnesota, but after being made inactive for the first 3 games of his rookie year, Diggs quickly proved he belonged. In week 4 against the Broncos, he flashed his big playability, hauling in a 42-yard catch. After the bye week, he went off for back-to-back 100-yard games in week 6 and 7 and was the first Vikings rookie to accomplish that since Randy Moss in 1998. He had officially arrived, but his first few years with the Vikings were far from smooth sailing. Despite putting up solid numbers, there were constant friction with the heavy run offense scheme. Diggs had grown frustrated with his role with the Vikings' run-heavy offense. As he stated, they were kind of gearing towards a run-heavy offense at the time. They only allowed me to do so much. In my eyes, it wasn't going to be the best interest for my career. But I'm kind of questioning that, because looking at the numbers in 2015, his rookie year, AP was in his 8th year in the league, and he was still putting up great numbers. That season, he had 327 rushes for 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns. Steffon led the receiving room with 52 catches and 70 yards and 4 touchdowns. As a rookie, decent numbers for his first year in the league. Moving on to 2016, AP was out and Jerick McKinnon was in. He had 159 rushes for 500 yards, and Steffon still led the receiver room with 84 catches and 903 yards. 2017, Latavius Murray was RB1, and he had 216 rushes for 842 yards. And Steffon fell second to Adam Thielen as he missed 2 games with only 64 catches and 848 yards on the season. So I can kind of understand his frustration over his first 3 years, as they all fell under the 1,000-yard mark. It wasn't until his 4th year where he caught over 100 catches and had over 1,000 yards on the season. The big headline drama came in 2019 when he missed practice and meetings amid reports he wasn't happy with the style of offense the Vikings was running. With his role and lack of input during the game plans, he even skipped a team flight, creating a rift with the organization. However, Steffon's on-field performance that season made the Vikings think twice about moving on. He set career highs with 1,100 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns in the regular season, but the drama returned the following offseason as he doubled down on his trade demands. The situation had become shaky. His early years with the Vikings were filled with brilliant highlights, but also plenty of frustration and locker room drama stemming from his role and lack of offense input. Ultimately, it led him forcing his way out in a trade.
I think, there's been speculation and stuff that you might want to be traded. You want to be traded?
I don't know, be selfish.
Along with rumors and all that?
Yeah.
I feel like there's truth to all rumors. No matter how you dress it up, I won't be saying nothing on it. I won't be speaking on it at all. But there is truth to all rumors, I guess.
We'd heard rumblings that Steffon Diggs wanted to be traded, that he wanted a fresh start. Mainly those rumblings coming from his own Twitter feed, where he was constantly complaining about his situation. He no-showed last year a bunch.
Thought ahead that, hey, we don't want to unload Steffon Diggs, but if somebody calls and makes us an offer we can't refuse, to give us a Godfather offer, we're dumping Steffon Diggs, and that's exactly what this is.
But wait, before we get into that, we can't just skip over his most memorable moments during his career with the Vikings. First, back-to-back 100-yard games as a rookie. Then the most famous of them all, the Minneapolis Miracle. Trailing 24-23 with just 10 seconds left, Case Keenum heaved the ball down the sideline desperately as time expired, hoping for a miracle.
Pass is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
Explain everything that was going on once you crossed the end zone.
I still don't know what just happened.
For real.
I really don't. God put me in a position, and I just try to take advantage of my opportunity.
Setting career highs in 2019, despite the tension that year for his role, Diggs still set career highs 1,130 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns in the regular season for the Vikings. Consistent production from 2015 to 2019. Over his 5 seasons in Minnesota, he averaged a very solid 924.6 receiving yards per season, establishing himself as a reliable playmaker. And his highlight reel catches. I'll just let the tape speak for itself.
Cousins deep down the right sideline and underthrown and coming back to Steffon. Let's see if Cousins goes that direction. He does. And he brings it in. Cousins, Diggs, he's got it, touchdown!
Going Joe, and he's got him. He's got Diggs down inside the 10 for Cousins. Going deep, he's got Diggs. That's a touchdown. What a play.
Now back to the trade. The Vikings got an excellent return in the trade, receiving 4 draft picks, including a 2020 first-round pick that was used on Jay Jettas. And I'm sorry to Steffon for throwing this in there, but Jay Jettas in his first year, he only had 88 catches for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. I'm guessing those are the type of numbers Steffon wanted to put up with his time with Minnesota. But there seemed to be an understanding from the Viking side that Diggs had become unhappy with the relationship that ran its course. As Dalvin Cook put it, when a guy is unhappy, he's unhappy. I just don't hold any grudges against Diggs for just wanting to make that move. There was no one with the Vikings, previous or current, that had any regrets on the trade for Diggs, given for who they got in return. However, Steffon did dispute the notion that he forced his way out of Minnesota in comments after the trade. I wouldn't say I forced my way out of Minnesota. It was more of a respect thing than anything else. Now in his new home in Buffalo, after 5 seasons, Diggs found the perfect situation, a pass-happy offense led by a strong-armed Josh Allen. He rewarded the Bills faithful immediately, setting franchise records with 127 catches for 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns in his debut season 2020. He finally got everything he was looking for. Steph led the NFL in receptions and receiving yards, earning first-team All-Pro honors as he unlocked his true potential as the #1 receiver. The Bills were suddenly a juggernaut, going 13-3, reaching the AFC Championship behind their dynamic passing attack. And over the next 2 seasons, Diggs continued his elite production, earning 2 more Pro Bowl nods, while Allen emerged as an MVP candidate. But behind the scenes, it was reported that tension started to rise in the locker room between the 2 stars.
I got you. I'm beat though. Got you.
Despite their on-field chemistry, reports surfaced of tension between
Josh Allen sounded like he was trying to be high just to get him off. He's just like, bro, shut up. I'll beat the shit out of you.
Diggs and Allen over Diggs' lack of involvement in the offensive game planning and play calling decisions under coordinator Ken Dorsey. And this kind of mirrored the same issue Diggs had in Minnesota after having little voice in how the offense operated week to week. The frustrations came about late in the 2022 season. In the Buffalo's playoff loss to Cincinnati, cameras caught Diggs angrily confronting Allen on the sideline after another stalled offensive possession where he just had 4 catches. The following offseason, Diggs skipped the opening of mandatory minicamp, causing concerns from head coach Sean McDermott about his absence and commitment. While Diggs' agent cited non-football matters, it was widely believed it was related to his role in Dorsey's offense.
Steffon Diggs being unhappy in Buffalo for weeks and maybe even months now, and all along people have denied it. But then, lo and behold, today, Sean McDermott himself said he's very concerned about him not being there, and Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, said that they're working through some issues.
With Steph's production dipping in the second half of the 22 season after a hot start, the tension only escalated further. Despite signing a crazy extension in 2022, the situation had become a lot like his final years in Minnesota. In April of 2024, the Bills finally ran out of patience and shipped Diggs to the Houston Texans for more draft capital. While he did achieve great on-field success in Buffalo, it was his lack of input on the offense that ran its course again, leading to his departure. After 9 years playing for 2 different teams where it could get very cold out, Steph is going into his 10th season down in Houston, Texas, with a sophomore QB that did great things as a rookie. Steph is one of 10 players on the Texans that have been in the league 10 plus years. He's an old head now, but given the right looks and opportunities, he can still ball. This is the perfect situation for him to be a leader and mentor to the young guys like Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and others, like he was to his younger brothers growing up, teaching them the ways on and off the field. But for some reason, when it comes to Steph, he has a bad rep in the media about his character. I guess it's from the hundreds of tweets he make when things aren't going right. But let him tell it, they really don't mean anything and they're just rap lyrics.
They said, come and rescue me. Yeah, like, I'm like, damn, like, I thought we all listened to Drake at one point, you know what I'm saying? Of course, like, I like to, you know, sometimes I do poke the bear at people all the time.
But during his time in Buffalo, a female reporter was caught sneak dissing him about his character.
Hey, there's no control over Steffon Diggs. Dude's gonna do what he wants to do. He'll look in my face and say "F you." How he treats everybody.
I just don't know how true any of that may be
cap.
because none of the players he has played with gives him a bad rep. Not even Josh. It's always how much of a team player he is.
The whole rap about him was, oh, he's a me first guy. He's a distraction in the locker room. And I've never ever seen that side of him.
Everybody's known me to be three things, and that's one, a team guy. I've always put the team before myself. I've never made it just about me. I've never been that kind of guy.
He's been so much about the team. If I'm in a funk, he's let me know, like, I got you.
I got you, bro.
Give me the ball. I'll make something happen for you.
Hopefully the Texans as a whole can model the success they had last year. And Steph does good so he doesn't have to have Twitter fingers. The Texans can make a run for it all. But like I was saying a while ago, Diggs is going into his 10th season, which is a blessing for the NFL. Because every player knows it's not for long. And a lot of players don't have a life or know what to do when their phone stops ringing from the league. But for Steph, his life off the field is all about fashion, which he takes very seriously.
Y'all gotta let me know, dude. Steffon really be putting that shit on? Sometimes he be throwing that shit on, don't get me wrong, he do. Does he really throw it on though?
Seriously. Hence to why he was getting clowned by his Viking teammates at the beginning of this video. But from a young age, he had a good taste in style. Pause. Not being financially stable to get all the clothes he liked and wanted, it made him tap into his creative side more to put pieces together he already had. His mindset was, if you don't have much, make it look real good. An attitude that made his personal style bold and unique even from his childhood. As he rose through the ranks to become an NFL star, he began expressing himself through fashion. His style evolved from more of a streetwear look to more of a sophisticated grown man vibes. His passion extended beyond just wearing the clothes to even collecting them. Ultimately, it led him to launch his own fashion label, Liam, in 2024. Liam is inspired by Diggs' personal style and often chaotic experience of being an athlete and celebrity, saying, I hope one day to be in a creative director role because I'm so into fashion and clothes. From making the most of hand-me-downs as a kid to sitting front rows at fashion weeks to starting his own clothing brand, fashion has been a long life passion and creative outlet for Diggs.
Now, shout out to Diggs, man. Shout out to Steffon. He was definitely an inspiration for me personally because, you know what I'm saying, I went to the same high school as bruh. Definitely seen those videos. Balling out made me want to go ball out. So, shout out to bruh for the motivation. You know what I'm saying? If y'all like Steffon Diggs, let me know in the comments what y'all think about this video. For real, for real. Go ahead, like and subscribe. I'm out.